Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an epic journey through time, where every January the WWE Universe witnesses chaos, surprises, and unforgettable moments. Welcome to the history of WWE's Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble is an annual WWE premium live event, considered one of WWE's Big Four events alongside WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. The Rumble is often many fans' favorite event of the year, for its unique match type, a modified 30-man over-the-top battle royale, the Royal Rumble. In these matches, two superstars are drawn to start the match, with 20 other superstars entering the ring at time intervals, typically every 90 seconds. The goal? Stay in the ring by any means necessary. If a superstar is thrown over the top rope and both feet hit the arena floor, they are eliminated from the match. The last surviving wrestler typically earns a coveted championship title match at WrestleMania. The Royal Rumble is a whirlwind of intense action and constantly evolving storylines that demand your full attention from the moment it begins. Its entertainment value thrives on the unpredictability, surprise entrance, and the exhilaration of wrestlers battling it out to eliminate each other. Fans eagerly anticipate unexpected returns or debuts, creating a thrilling spectacle in the world of professional wrestling. Memorable moments such as wild spots, creative saves, or the shock of a surprise winner add to the enduring entertainment appeal of this electrifying event that kicks off the road to WrestleMania. Wrestler and WWE Hall of Famer Pat Patterson is credited with creating the Royal Rumble match following its initial trial run at a house show in October 1987. Here, the event's unique format began to take shape. Royal Rumble 1988. The inaugural Royal Rumble took place January 24, 1988, in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, distinguishing itself as a groundbreaking event. Unlike subsequent Rumble matches, this debut showcased only 20 competitors and aired on free television, rather than pay-per-view. Despite its revolutionary concept, in hindsight, this Rumble wasn't the most riveting bout, even lacking the main event spotlight. The culmination of the match, featuring Hacksaw Jim Duggan against the One-Man Gang and Dino Bravo, was executed decently, albeit marred by Vince McMahon's commentary, inadvertently spoiling the final elimination. Duggan's eventual victory, while historically significant, is often remembered more as a trivia question than a defining moment. At the time, the concept of earning a title shot, a staple of later Rumbles, had not yet been introduced, which somewhat diluted the match's significance. Looking back, the inaugural Rumble lacks the in-ring excitement that would later define the iconic WWE tradition. Royal Rumble 1989. The second iteration of the Royal Rumble was a definite improvement on the first, setting the precedent of having 30 men partake in the match. A more stacked roster featuring legends like Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, and Andre the Giant elevated the match's prestige. The match, like the first, was detached from the title picture, but revolved around a much more compelling storyline, with the eventual winner, Big John Studd, sabotaging Ted DiBiase, who attempted to stack the odds in his favor by securing the coveted number 30 spot and arranging consecutive entrances from his heel allies. Studd's unexpected victory and a fitting downfall for DiBiase added depth and excitement to the match. The match was also notable as it became an important part of the breakup of the Mega Powers, as Hulk Hogan accidentally eliminated Randy Savage from the match, setting the stage for their colossal WrestleMania 5 showdown. Royal Rumble 1990. The 1990 Royal Rumble continued to refine the Rumble formula, boasting a stronger roster filled with prominent stars of the era. Among its memorable moments was the first everyone teams up to throw the big man out spot, witnessing Earthquake's elimination by a unified field of competitors. However, the standout moment of the match would be the epic clash between Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior, both babyfaces, something that was extremely rare to see during Golden Era WWF programming and captivated the audience. Then WWF champion Hogan would come out on top, leading to a passing of the torch match against the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6. Royal Rumble 1991. Despite the Ultimate Warrior's push from a year before, Hulkamania was still running wild, and the 1991 Royal Rumble would cement that notion. It was very clear early on that the Hulkster would come out on top, with one of the only other favorites, Macho Man Randy Savage, notably absent from the match. This, on top of the fact that Hogan dedicated his performance to the US military, who were involved in the Gulf War at the time, signaled a symbolic victory was imminent. Hogan, in the end, would win the match by eliminating Earthquake, becoming the first two-time Rumble winner, and would go on to defeat the Iraqi-sympathizing Sergeant Slaughter at WrestleMania 7 in a patriotic display. Royal Rumble 1992. The 1992 Rumble elevated the stakes with the vacant WWF Championship on the line, intensifying the excitement as every participant had a chance at claiming the gold. A star-studded lineup including Hulk Hogan, Undertaker, Sid Justice, Randy Savage, Roddy Piper, the British Bulldog, and Jake Roberts created a scenario where victory was far from certain for any wrestler. However, entering at the number 3 spot was the iconic Nature Boy himself, Ric Flair, who emerged as a standout of the night, stealing the show and the coveted championship. The climax of the match witnessed a contentious moment where Hogan, despite his elimination, played a pivotal role in aiding Flair by eliminating Sid and securing victory for Flair. Flair's triumph marked the first instance of a heel winning the Rumble and stood as a groundbreaking win from an early entry number. Revered by many fans and critics, the 1992 Rumble is often hailed as the pinnacle of the event's early years, lauded for its star power, intense competition, and Flair's historic championship victory. Royal Rumble 1993. The 1993 Royal Rumble, while not the most entertaining, holds a significant place in Royal Rumble history, as the first to officially grant the winner a title shot at WrestleMania. Despite its overall lackluster nature, a few standout moments linger in memory. Wrestling veteran Bob Backlund's remarkable endurance, lasting an hour and 1 minute, set a record as the longest performance in a traditional Royal Rumble at the time, a feat that still ranks among the top 4, as well as Yokozuna's dominant performance, suplexing Earthquake out of the ring, and in the end eliminating Macho Man Randy Savage for the win by launching him over the ropes after Savage, for some idiotic reason, attempted a pin. This match is also infamous for the debut of perhaps the worst wrestler in WWE history, Giant Gonzalez, who entered clad in a naked Bigfoot-like costume, leading to an underwhelming encounter with The Undertaker. This culminated in easily The Undertaker's worst WrestleMania match against Gonzalez at WrestleMania 9. Royal Rumble 1994. The 94 Rumble, while not a fan favorite, had an absolutely unforgettable conclusion. Before we dive into that, let's highlight Kevin Nash's standout performance that night. Wrestling as Diesel at the time, Nash made a resounding impact, eliminating 7 consecutive wrestlers. His dominant display not only grabbed the attention of fans, but marked a turning point in his career, setting the stage for future successes. However, what truly defines the 94 Rumble is its unique distinction as the first and only tie in the event's history. An astonishing moment arose when Bret Hart and Lex Luger simultaneously eliminated each other. Both competitors' feet hit the floor at the same time, and both competitors believed they were the rightful winner, leading to an unprecedented scenario. Rather than restarting the match, both Hart and Luger were granted a title shot at WrestleMania 10, cementing this Rumble's place in WWE history. Royal Rumble 1995. In the history of the Royal Rumble to this point, no one had ever clinched victory from the number 1 or number 2 position. The 1995 Rumble aimed to alter this trend by featuring Shawn Michaels as the number 1 entrant and the British Bulldog as the number 2 entrant, both of whom lasted the entire match. However, perhaps in an attempt to make the enduring match easier, the 1995 Rumble implemented a 60-second timer between entries instead of the usual 90 seconds. This adjustment contributed to the Rumble feeling rushed and somewhat sloppy, especially with a lineup of wrestlers that didn't quite match up to the usual caliber, featuring names like Mabel and Mantar gracing the ring. In truth, much of the match's weight was carried by the British Bulldog and Shawn Michaels, ultimately Michaels emerging victorious and claiming the win, in what stands as the shortest Rumble match in history, lasting only 38 minutes. This victory also marked the first time the both feet must hit the floor rule came into play, showcasing the iconic moment of Michaels clinging onto the rope as only one foot hit the floor. Moreover, the presence of Pamela Anderson kinda added to the star power of this event, as she was forced to awkwardly celebrate with Shawn Michaels at the end, even though she accompanied Diesel to the ring. Royal Rumble 1996. Occurring during a bit of a transitional time in the WWF between the waning days of the Golden Era and the soon-to-come Attitude Era, the 1996 Royal Rumble saw a compelling cast of entries, including Rumble debuts from the Ringmaster, Steve Austin, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Triple H, and Dr. Isaac Yankem, Kane, marking his first of 20 Rumble appearances, a record he still holds to this day. This is also the first Rumble that everyone got their own entrance music, a definite plus, as well as the second time the Rumble did not main event the show. However, yet again this was another predictable outcome, as the focus of the night revolved around elevating a single individual, and that individual was Shawn Michaels. Despite Helmsley's commendable performance of over 48 minutes, the spotlight was always destined for HBK as they approached WrestleMania 12. A destined clash with Bret Hart loomed, and Michaels solidified his path to victory and WrestleMania by eliminating 8 competitors during the event. Royal Rumble 1997. Coming off the successes of the 1996 King of the Ring, The 1997 Royal Rumble will go down as the match that truly put Stone Cold Steve Austin on the path to superstardom. Entering at the number 5 position, Austin was on fire that night in front of 60,000 people in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. The Rattlesnake cleared the ring upon his arrival and played his role to perfection as he made quick work of the field on his way to eliminating 10 men, which tied the record at the time. Stone Cold's victory in the end would be a bit of a controversy as he was actually thrown out over the top rope by bitter rival Bret Hart, but the referees were dealing with Mick Foley and Terry Funk on the other side of the ring and didn't see Austin. He just slid back into the ring and picked up 3 quick eliminations, including Bret Hart, to win his first of 3 Royal Rumble matches. Royal Rumble 1998. Once again, the 98 Rumble was far from unpredictable. Perhaps this can be forgiven though due to how incredibly over Stone Cold Steve Austin was at this time. Others in the match, however, still managed to make the best of the night, with Mick Foley entering the match 3 different times as Cactus Jack, Mankind, and Dude Love, just to be eliminated each time. The Rock also had a great showing, entering 4th and making it all the way to the end, really doing wonders for his career going forward. But this night belonged to Austin, and he hit the ring on the mission, entering at number 24, clearing the ring and eliminating The Rock for the victory as Iron Mike Tyson cheered on in glee. Royal Rumble 1999. WWF programming in 1999 was really only about one thing: the hottest storyline in wrestling, the Austin-McMahon feud, and the 1999 Royal Rumble was no different. The match is truly a tale of 2 halves. The first portion feels lackluster, with repetitive ring clearances that didn't showcase anyone in a really positive light. Kane's abrupt departure and Mabel's fate contributed to trivializing the Rumble's essence. However, the final 20 minutes really redeemed the match. Austin's return sparks a gripping battle over who will eliminate him. McMahon's offer of $100,000 to the man who will oust Austin turns the match into a personal competition. Though the event heavily centered around the legendary Austin-McMahon feud, so much so it kind of overshadowed the whole Royal Rumble concept, it still manages to be entertaining. With both Austin and McMahon starting at numbers 1 and 2, the entire event feels like an extended episode of their rivalry, with McMahon hell-bent on preventing Austin from capturing his 3rd Rumble win. Amidst the chaos, Chyna made groundbreaking history as the first woman to enter the Rumble, but lasted only 35 seconds before Austin eliminated her. The match's final showdown was always destined to feature Vince and Austin, culminating in McMahon's victory due to The Rock's distraction. Austin would later secure his title shot at WrestleMania 15 by defeating McMahon in a steel cage match at St. Valentine's Day Massacre, with the title shot earned at the Rumble on the line. Royal Rumble 2000. The 2000 Rumble, despite a somewhat less stacked up lineup due to injuries, delivered an entertaining show. Rikishi made a bold statement by eliminating the first 7 entrants single-handedly, showcasing his dominance early on. Notably, Stone Cold Steve Austin's absence due to injury opened a path for The Rock to ascend to the company's top attraction and win the match. Or did he? The final showdown between The Rock and The Big Show brought the match to a thrilling close. A dramatic finish saw both men tumbling over the ropes, but a replay later revealed that The Rock's feet touched the floor first. This controversy set the stage for WrestleMania 2000, in a feud which would end in a fatal 4-way for the title. Despite the contentious finish, the event was a lively affair, amplified by the electric atmosphere at Madison Square Garden. Royal Rumble 2001. The final Rumble of the Attitude Era, the 2001 Rumble, is probably its best, as it epitomized the best of the Attitude Era, offering a blend of action, humor, and outright oddity. The early dynamic between brothers Jeff and Matt Hardy forced to face off, followed by comedian Drew Carey's unexpected appearance and swift exit after nearly being chokeslammed by Kane, really added an entertainingly strange twist. Despite not being the winner in the end, it was truly Kane's night, as he spent over 53 minutes in the ring, setting a record at the time by eliminating 11 competitors. His memorable moment of smashing a guitar over Honky Tonk Man's head before tossing him out highlighted his dominance. The entry of The Rock at the number 13th spot escalated the excitement. Later arrivals like The Big Show, Undertaker, and Stone Cold Steve Austin further intensified the match's unpredictability. As the match reached its climax, The Rock and Austin's presence in the final 3 intensified the thrill. Kane's near double elimination of both icons set the stage for the showdown. After a dramatic struggle, Kane's attempt to attack Austin backfired, resulting in a stunner and decisive chair shots, leading to his elimination and granting Stone Cold his 3rd Royal Rumble victory, a record which he holds to this day. The match embodied the essence of the era, delivering electrifying moments and solidifying its place as a memorable chapter in WWE history. Royal Rumble 2002. The 2002 Rumble may best be remembered as the night that the legendary American Badass Undertaker was eliminated by rookie Maven of all people. Outside of this moment, the 2000 Rumble brought a lot to the table, with an influx of main event caliber wrestlers such as Booker T and Rob Van Dam thanks to the recent WCW invasion. Despite this, the focal point of the 2000 Rumble was undeniably the comeback of Triple H, who had been absent for 8 months due to a severe quad injury. So much so that Triple H received nearly a 2.5-minute entrance as the 22nd entry to the match, meaning in reality he probably should have been lapped by Hurricane, who was the 23rd entry. Regardless, this was still a really strong Rumble match, with the final four of Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, Triple H, and their returning Mr. Perfect putting on an exciting finish, with the Game coming out on top and booking his ticket to WrestleMania 18. Royal Rumble 2003. With the ruthless aggression era in full swing, the 2003 Rumble was the first Rumble to take place under the WWE name, and the first Rumble to occur after the Raw and SmackDown brand split, really adding to the unpredictability and excitement. There was never really a time in this match where there wasn't star power in the ring, with the likes of Chris Jericho, Undertaker, and Kane feeling like true threats throughout the match. This Rumble is the perfect example of using the Rumble to further storylines outside of the eventual winners, such as Jericho's early elimination of Shawn Michaels, fueling their great rivalry leading into WrestleMania, as well as debuts from John Cena and Batista. This Rumble really showcased the amount of talent WWE had in this era. In the end though, the night belonged to the next big thing, Brock Lesnar, who had qualified for the Rumble earlier in the night by defeating the Big Show. Lesnar would enter 29th, and after picking up 4 eliminations, with the final being The Undertaker, he set his sights on WWE Champion Kurt Angle for their epic battle at WrestleMania 19. Royal Rumble 2004. In what's arguably the least discussed Royal Rumble today thanks to its eventual winner, the 2004 Rumble is still a true testament to the excitement of the Rumble match. This Rumble was full of huge stars, and more of half the wrestlers in this match had either won or would hold the world title at some point. This would also be the first Rumble match to feature a young Randy Orton, who put on quite the performance, entering at the number 2 spot and scoring 5 eliminations. He would eventually be eliminated after 35 minutes by Mick Foley, a spot that would elevate the two men's bitter rivalry, a rivalry that would help skyrocket Orton's career. In the end though, we would see the massive Big Show also have a huge moment, eliminating the likes of John Cena, Rob Van Dam, Chris Jericho, and Kurt Angle. A perfect example of how to book a giant in a match of this caliber, making the finish all the more shocking as in a David and Goliath moment, the Big Show was toppled over the ropes. Royal Rumble 2005. The 05 Rumble will forever be remembered as the night that Vince McMahon was so angry his quads exploded. With some entertaining moments and eliminations throughout the match, the 2005 Rumble was a very clear sign of times changing and eras shifting as the WWE looked to the future. John Cena entered at number 25 and Batista at 28, and between the two of them, they eliminated a total of 7 competitors in a short amount of time before battling it out one-on-one to decide who would go to WrestleMania. The ending of this Rumble really does overshadow the rest of the match, as had happened in the 1994 Rumble with Bret Hart and Lex Luger. Batista and Cena eliminated each other simultaneously. As the shocking moment unfolded, it soon became evident that it was a mistake. The refs immediately began to argue over who the actual winner was. A visibly red-hot Vince McMahon power-walked his way down to the ring to settle the controversy, but as he got in, he tore both his quadriceps. Barking orders through the pain in a sitting position, he demanded that the match be restarted. Batista would end up getting the win over Cena following the restart, but both men would actually go on to WrestleMania 21 and win their first respective world titles. Royal Rumble 2006. If the finish of the 2004 Rumble was David vs. Goliath, then the 2006 Rumble was David vs. 29 Goliaths from start to finish. Entering second, the 5'6" luchador Rey Mysterio would last a staggering 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 15 seconds, the second longest time in a traditional Rumble match. It's not often that a guy like Rey Mysterio is going to win a match like the Royal Rumble, and the underdog thing has always played him well, especially in this match. Despite a few quiet moments in which Rey Mysterio lays almost lifeless and forgotten in the ring, he manages to hang on and propel himself to the end. Mysterio would face off against two of the company's top heels, in Triple H and Randy Orton, defying the odds and ousting both men. A fitting and emotional victory for Mysterio, who dedicated his performance to his late friend, Eddie Guerrero. Royal Rumble 2007. Of all the feats in The Undertaker's storied career up to this point, one achievement eluded him, a Royal Rumble victory. Start to finish, the 2007 Rumble is one of the most entertaining and thrilling watches the WWE has ever delivered. The inclusion of ECW wrestlers added to the excitement, as a table spot was even featured in this Rumble. The latter part of the match was executed brilliantly, culminating in a Final Four featuring four wrestling legends. Among them were Randy Orton and Edge, then known as Rated RKO, alongside Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. Edge and Orton would oust but not eliminate HBK from the ring, then focusing their assault on The Undertaker until Michaels returned and eliminated both members of Rated RKO. Since Michaels' WWE return in 2002, these former rivals had not shared much in-ring time, creating a palpable anticipation among the crowd for their encounter. This intense 10-minute battle was truly special, with The Undertaker ultimately claiming the long-awaited Royal Rumble victory. This monumental clash set the stage for their epic rivalry that would deliver classic after classic match in the late 2000s. Royal Rumble 2008. As a rather young wrestling fan at the time, the 2008 Royal Rumble is a night that took my enjoyment of pro wrestling into a full-on fanaticism. Live from the raucous Madison Square Garden, the Rumble started out hot, with the final two men from the year before, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, starting out the match. Perhaps it's my bias talking, but this really was a fantastic Royal Rumble, start to finish. Returns from Jimmy Snuka and Roddy Piper, rekindling their rivalry from yesteryear, as well as a good amount of young stars in the making like John Morrison, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and The Miz really made this night something special. At the 29th spot, out came Triple H, and it seemed all but certain that the Cerebral Assassin would claim his second Rumble victory. Then it happened. The time was now, and John Cena arrived as the surprise 30th entry, shocking the crowd and 9-year-old me as Cena miraculously returned months early from a serious pectoral injury. The pop from the crowd and the smirk on Cena's face as he enters still gives me chills to this day. Cena would go on to muscle out Triple H with an AA to claim victory, even though technically Hornswoggle was never officially eliminated from the match. Royal Rumble 2009. The 2009 Rumble did a good job of highlighting just how chaotic a Rumble can get, filling the ring with 15 superstars at one point. This Rumble is also perhaps the best example of the power of teamwork within a Rumble match. Randy Orton's legacy staple, comprised of himself, Cody Rhodes, and Ted DiBiase Jr., took over the match, with all three making it to the Final Four and picking up 6 eliminations along the way. Triple H, the sole non-member of Legacy left in the ring, at the end managed to get the upper hand and threw out DiBiase and then Rhodes, only to be eliminated right after by Orton, setting the stage for their out-of-control rivalry going into WrestleMania 25. The 2009 Rumble is also infamous for Santino Marella's 1.9 second run in the match, the shortest in the event's history. Royal Rumble 2010. Good pacing is a term I would use to describe the 2010 Rumble, with a good flow of wrestlers allowing for the biggest stars to shine at different moments. CM Punk would be the man to control the beginning of the match, entering number 3 and quickly eliminating both Dolph Ziggler and Evan Bourne. In the ring alone, CM Punk would use the lull in the match to cut a promo on the microphone, a brilliant use of his skill set while also adding to the intrigue in the match. Beth Phoenix would also make history by being the second woman to ever enter the match, even eliminating the Great Khali before Punk ousted her. Punk's run would be cut short by Triple H, who was soon joined by his DX running mate Shawn Michaels. There was a lot of build around HBK going into this match, and he was hell-bent on getting a rematch against his arch-rival Undertaker at WrestleMania. He pulled out all the stops, even going as far as giving a sweet chin music to Triple H to eliminate his best friend. It seemed as if Michaels might pull it off, but was eventually eliminated by Batista. The agony on his face was palpable as he attempted to rejoin the fray, even resorting into kicking the referee in the face before reluctantly exiting the match. In the end, the night would ultimately belong to Edge, who much like John Cena in 2008 made a shocking return early from injury to eliminate Cena and win the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble 2011. The Royal Rumble in 2011 was hyped to the moon, as for the first time ever it would feature 40 men rather than the usual 30. This Rumble is the perfect example of bigger doesn't always mean better, as this Rumble felt bloated and rushed, filled with meaningless entries just to get a cheap reaction, such as John Cena teaming with Hornswoggle, really just added to the overall frustration of this match. There were some positives, like John Morrison's cool spot where he saved himself from elimination by landing on the barricade, as well as another solid performance from CM Punk. But like much of this match, these moments got lost in the shuffle. Admittedly, the eventual winner Alberto Del Rio was a bit of a surprise, but really felt unearned and led to an opening match defeat at an underwhelming WrestleMania 27. Honestly, the most exciting thing about this Rumble might be that Santino Marella had a chance to win in the end. So yeah, a big letdown of a Rumble, a trend that would plague the early 2010s. Royal Rumble 2012. The 2012 Rumble would thankfully return to the 30-man format, but still highlighted many of the same problems as the previous years. The biggest problem with the Rumble might be that no matter who the winner was, he was going to feel like an afterthought, as everyone knew that John Cena and The Rock were set to headline WrestleMania 28, and the winner of the Rumble would be placed on the undercard. Even so, the match lacked star power, so much so that the commentary team was thrown into the mix, really taking away from the importance of the match. I'd say the highlight of this match was Kofi Kingston's amazing handstand walking stave, and Jericho and Sheamus' finish to the match, which saw a lot of near eliminations. Like in 2011, Sheamus' WrestleMania prize for winning the match was regulated to opening WrestleMania and lasted a grand total of 18 seconds. At least he won the match, I suppose. Royal Rumble 2013. After 2 years of back-to-back letdowns of Rumbles, the 2013 Rumble attempted to course-correct and bring some prestige back to the match. One could say that it did just that, as at least the winner was main eventing WrestleMania again. But overall, this Rumble was largely unremarkable and extremely predictable. There are some entertaining moments in this match, such as Dolph Ziggler and Jericho's 45-minute-plus performances and Kofi Kingston's Pogo 6 save. However, it was clear Cena was going to come out on top, as the WWE was hell-bent on rerunning once-in-a-lifetime Cena vs. The Rock at WrestleMania 29. The whole night felt commercial, with The Rock later predictably defeating CM Punk for the title and the other guys in the Rumble being shelved for Cena. I suppose the silver lining of the booking in this Rumble is that it did lead to a very enticing Undertaker-CM Punk feud at WrestleMania 29, even if it came at the expense of Punk's great WWE title run. Royal Rumble 2014. The 2014 Royal Rumble, while not a poor match, left many fans feeling disappointed due to its booking. Looking back, it was a significant event for several reasons. CM Punk's final match in his initial WWE run, Roman Reigns making a strong impression by scoring a record 12 eliminations at the time, and the return of the Animal, Batista, who ultimately emerged as the victor. However, despite his win, Batista faced merciless boos from the crowd as he won, signaling their dissatisfaction with the match's outcome. The crowd's hostile response directly tied to the absence of Daniel Bryan. Bryan, immensely popular among fans, had earlier lost a singles match to Bray Wyatt, leading to the expectations that he would enter the Rumble. However, to the dismay of the Pittsburgh crowd, Bryan never appeared. Their disappointment was palpable, especially when the highly anticipated number 30 entrant turned out to be Rey Mysterio rather than Bryan, who received an unexpected wave of disapproval, an unusual reaction for the beloved luchador. Although Bryan's absence stirred frustration among fans during the Rumble, in hindsight it added an extra layer of anticipation and sweetness to his eventual epic victory at WrestleMania 30. His triumphs after the Rumble's exclusion only intensified the joy and significance of his WrestleMania moment. Royal Rumble 2015. The 2015 Rumble is often seen as a symbol of the issues within the later years of Vince McMahon's WWE leadership. While the Rumble match itself had enjoyable moments, the atmosphere shifted drastically after fan favorite Daniel Bryan was swiftly eliminated just 10 minutes after entering the match. The crowd hijacked the show from here on out, and it ended up being a pretty rough viewing experience. The WWE's leadership was set on getting Roman Reigns over as the next big babyface of the company, and it backfired miserably. After Reigns won the match, not even The Rock himself could avoid the heat from the crowd, as cheering rang out as he raised his cousin's hand in victory. Overall, probably anyone outside of Bryan winning would have turned the crowd, but it highlighted the disconnect between the company and the fans in this era. But heck, we still got a pretty sweet WrestleMania moment from this when Seth Rollins heisted the title from Roman and Lesnar. Royal Rumble 2016. The 2016 Rumble would harken back to the 1992 Rumble by having the interesting twist of having the WWE World Heavyweight Championship title up for grabs. Except this time around, the title was not vacant. It belonged to Roman Reigns, who was forced to defend his title from the number one position. This did make it a little bit of a one versus all feeling, but this Rumble delivered more so than previous year's matches. A notable highlight was the debut of AJ Styles, making his official WWE debut. He had a really great showing before being eliminated by Kevin Owens. Owens himself had a good night, further fueling his storyline feud with friend Sami Zayn. Roman was out of commission for much of the match after being taken out by the League of Nations, but returned in time to go face to face with the number 30 entry, Triple H, which was somewhat predictable. Triple H would end up winning the match to set up his match against Roman at WrestleMania 32. Despite the somewhat predictable nature of this Rumble, the title stipulation and a good use of talent was refreshing after a slew of disappointing Rumbles. Royal Rumble 2017. The 2017 iteration of the Rumble has got to be one of the largest Rumble matches ever in terms of the size of the competitors within the match, including the likes of Braun Strowman, The Big Show, Mark Henry, Brock Lesnar, and Goldberg, all tipping the scales in this match. The 2017 Rumble may not have been the highest quality, but given the huge venue of the Alamo Dome and some insane star power, this match is a fun watch. Other stars also make the most of this match, such as Bray Wyatt, Chris Jericho, Dean Ambrose, and Sami Zayn. This was also The Undertaker's final Rumble appearance, scoring 4 eliminations and teasing a feud with Goldberg before being eliminated by Roman Reigns. A great way to draw heat to Reigns. In the end, Randy Orton, at this time part of the Wyatt family, again made good use of teamwork as he did in 2009 to earn himself a second Rumble victory. This Rumble is almost star after star entering the match, and it made for a memorable night. Royal Rumble 2018. The 2018 Rumble marked a historic moment as it introduced the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match, which would main event the show. Before this groundbreaking match, the men delivered an engaging and surprising performance. Shinsuke Nakamura's stunning triumph, eliminating John Cena and Roman Reigns single-handedly, defied expectations, especially considering Cena and Reigns' dominance in the WWE. Nakamura's victory promised a thrilling future, although his WrestleMania title bid against AJ Styles ended in disappointment. In the women's match, Asuka emerged victorious, outlasting a field that included returning legends like Trish Stratus and Mickie James, as well as Sasha Banks, Nikki Bella, and Nia Jax to claim the inaugural Women's Royal Rumble victory. However, Ronda Rousey's appearance after the match, announcing her signing with the WWE, somewhat overshadowed Asuka's win. Nevertheless, the 2018 Rumble stands as a pivotal moment in the history of women's wrestling, marking a significant milestone and setting the stage for an era of progress and opportunity in the WWE. Royal Rumble 2019. 2019 would continue the new tradition of having 2 Rumble matches, one for the women and one for the men. The ladies would go on first, but unlike the first Rumble, this one felt a bit sloppier, with a lot of talent, clearly too green and brought up just to fill out the roster. This match also lacked the star power of the first Women's Rumble, with many of the so-called classic divas who had appeared in the first Rumble absent this time around. The end of the match though really picked up the pace, as many of the staples of the women's division entered the ring for the final act, including Becky Lynch, who despite losing to Asuka earlier in the night, managed to make her way into the match. Up until this point, it seemed that Charlotte Flair had the match in the bag, eliminating 5 women on her own. In the finish, Becky was able to make amends for her defeat earlier in the night by eliminating Charlotte for the win. The men's Rumble, like the women's Rumble, featured a ton of younger talent and was largely unpredictable as there was no clear choice for the winner going in. In the end, Seth Rollins would emerge victorious. 2 years later, the 2 Rumble winners on this night would be married. Oh, and also, Nia Jax became the first superstar to compete in 2 Rumbles in one night, so that's something, I guess. Royal Rumble 2020. The first Rumble of the 2020s really started out the decade with a bang, and is really a showcase of how great this match can be for both the men and the women. The women's roster, like the 2019 Rumble, featured a lot of younger talent, but this time around, they were really on their game, a testament to the improving quality of the NXT brand. Bianca Belair, an NXT superstar at the time, had a monster showing, discarding 8 superstars, a women's Rumble record, and dominating the first half of the match. The number 30 entry, Shayna Baszler, also had an amazing night, eliminating 8 women of her own. The use of these 2 NXT superstars in such a positive manner really added to the match, with both the women coming off as possible contenders to win the whole thing. The match also featured a gritty performance from WWE Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix, who busted herself open on the ring post, but continued the match throughout the pain, eventually goading the infamous Santina Marella out of the ring. Thank God. The finish presented fans with a somewhat inevitable outcome, as Charlotte emerged victorious after eliminating the formidable Baszler. The 2020 Women's Rumble did a great job of blending the old and the new, and really allowed a lot of the women to shine. With a tough act to follow, the men would close out the night with a unique and enjoyable Rumble match of their own. The early portions of the match were utterly dominated by the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, who started the match as the first entry. Lesnar was on an absolute warpath, running through the first 10 superstars to enter the ring like butter. Lesnar pulled off God knows how many German suplexes and scored 13 eliminations in total, setting the record for the most eliminations in a traditional Rumble match. It wouldn't be till the eventual winner of the match, Drew McIntyre, entered at the number 16 position and eliminated Lesnar with a Claymore after a low blow from Ricochet. As a bit of a Brock Lesnar stan myself, his run in the 2020 Rumble was a joy to watch and gave one the feeling that, heck, he might just eliminate the entire field for the win. The most memorable moment of the night, and perhaps the most shocking moment WWE has delivered in recent years, came at the 21st entry. Edge's music hit and the place exploded. Having been forced to retire back in 2011 from a supposed career-ending injury, his return to the ring was a truly earth-shattering shock. Edge's entry to the match really kicked things into high gear as he hit spear after spear, and the fans were even treated to a brief, rated RKO reunion. Edge's night in the Rumble would be cut short by Roman Reigns, who eliminated him unceremoniously. Reigns and McIntyre would close out the Rumble, with McIntyre prevailing in the end. Unfortunately for Drew McIntyre, his ultimate achievement will be marred by the COVID-19 pandemic as he stood tall at WrestleMania 36 in front of no fans. Royal Rumble 2021. With the COVID-19 restrictions still in play, the 2021 Royal Rumble was presented from the WWE Thunderdome in front of no live fans. The fourth Women's Royal Rumble would see Bianca Belair continue her dominance from the Rumble the year before. However, this time around, she would finish the job. Entering third, she would survive a whopping 56 minutes and eliminate 4 superstars, and had an epic standoff with the runner-up Rhea Ripley before eventually winning the match. This led to her first World Championship victory at WrestleMania 37, propelling her into superstardom and popularity amongst the WWE Universe. The Men's Rumble match would see Edge redeem himself from his elimination in 2020 by going the distance from the number 1 position and capturing his second Royal Rumble victory, 11 years to the day after winning the 2010 Royal Rumble match. Ultimately though, at WrestleMania, Roman Reigns would prevail against both Edge and Daniel Bryan, stacking them upon one another for the win. Royal Rumble 2022. The 2022 Rumble was the night that 2 former UFC World Champions would win both the men and women's Royal Rumbles. The Women's Rumble would see Ronda Rousey return to the WWE for the first time in nearly 3 years. Ronda entered the Rumble at number 28 and eliminated 4 superstars on their way to punching her ticket to WrestleMania, where she would fall short against Charlotte Flair. The Men's Rumble, while not standing out as the best in recent years, did offer some enjoyable moments. The inclusion of 2 celebrities, Bad Bunny and Johnny Knoxville, added some memorable highlights. Their participation led to subsequent feuds of their own, adding a layer of entertainment to the event. Brock Lesnar, who had lost his WWE Championship to Bobby Lashley earlier in the night, quickly thought to make amends by inserting himself into the match and back into the title picture by winning his second career Royal Rumble in dominant fashion, entering the fray at number 30 and clearing the house with 5 eliminations. The 2022 Rumbles overall felt predictable once the 2 eventual winners entered the match, taking away from some of the intrigue of the match, leaving many with the feeling of this being a pretty by-the-numbers generic Rumble. Royal Rumble 2023. The most recent installment of the Royal Rumble, in 2023, is probably most remembered for its conclusion, after the undisputed Universal Championship match between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, which main evented the show. Sami Zayn turned on the Bloodline in a very satisfying manner. After the sinister faction's tribal chief, Roman Reigns attempted to have Sami brutalize his former friend Owens with a chair. Sami refused and instead turned the chair on Reigns, an epic moment that was the perfect climax to the Bloodline story. But before the Bloodline finale, fans were treated to 2 predictable yet satisfying Royal Rumble matches. The Men's Royal Rumble, which was for the first time ever to open the show, featured some truly awesome moments and performances. The spot of the night was undoubtedly the electrifying moment when Logan Paul and Ricochet stood on opposite aprons and trash talked one another before each launching themselves off the opposite top ropes and crashing into each other full force in midair. Pure sports entertainment bliss. The performance of the night, and arguably the greatest Rumble performance from a non-winner, was from the ring general Gunther, who lasted a staggering 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 40 seconds from the Iron Man position, a traditional Rumble record. However, Gunther's effort was in vain, as the number 30 entry Cody Rhodes, who was returning from a torn pectoral injury, entered the match and cleared house, with Gunther the last to go. Cody would secure his spot for the chance to finish the story at WrestleMania 39. A very predictable outcome, but a good moment for Cody. The women's match would go on before the main event and featured another Iron Man, or should I say Iron Woman performance, except hers wouldn't be in vain. Rhea Ripley, the first to enter the match, put on an absolute clinic. Rhea would eliminate 7 other women on her path to victory and survive 1 hour, 1 minute, 8 seconds, a women's Rumble record. She wasn't alone though, as the number 2 entry, Liv Morgan, would survive all the way to the end, with her only to be eliminated by her former friend in a pretty cool final spot, featuring the final competitors battling it out on the apron. Though both the Rumble matches in 2023 had predictable outcomes, one can't help but find Rhea's victory more satisfying, coming from the number 1 entry rather than number 30 entry. This was overall a very entertaining Royal Rumble from start to finish. Royal Rumble 2024. With the 37th annual Royal Rumble just around the corner, the excitement is palpable, and the night promises to bring excitement and surprises. Many superstars have their eyes on the prize for a title shot at WrestleMania 40. On the women's side, will Becky Lynch become the first woman to win 2 Royal Rumbles? Will Bayley fulfill her promise to Damage Control? Or perhaps a surprise entrance will claim the night for herself? And on the men's side, will Cody Rhodes get another shot to finish his story? Will Drew McIntyre receive a proper WrestleMania moment? Will Gunther finish the job this time around? Will Sami Zayn shock the world? Will a returning CM Punk finally get his WrestleMania main event? Or perhaps The Rock will spoil the party? Anything can happen, and everyone wants a piece of the action and a chance at immortality at the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. And there you have it, the thrilling, unpredictable, and storied history of WWE's Royal Rumble. From its humble beginnings to the grand spectacles we witness today, the Royal Rumble remains a cornerstone of the WWE calendar and remains my personal favorite event of the year, leaving all of us on the edge of our seat, eagerly awaiting the next surprise that awaits us in the squared circle at the Royal Rumble. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and until next time, this is Lucas, signing off. Enjoy the Rumble!